Ready.
Very good. All right, good afternoon, everyone. Good morning, everybody. I'm calling this meeting to order. It is September 16th, 2025. This is the Finance Committee and a special meeting of the Board of Directors of West Bay Municipal Water District. And so with that, let's please determine if we have a quorum. Mr. Owens.
Happy to take roll call. Chair Houston, Director Tommy Fabai, Director Scott Houston,
Here.
Director Desi Alvarez, Director Gloria Gray,
Here.
and Director Donald Deere.
Here.
Mr. Chair, we do have a quorum of the special meeting of the Board of Directors, but we do not have a quorum of the Finance and Administration Committee.
Very good. So I understand Director Favai is on his way. So we will be working a little bit in reverse order on the agenda, but in the meantime, public comment. Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak?
Mr. Chair, we have not received any requests for public comment, though this meeting is being held both in person and virtually. If there is any member of the public that would like to speak, please indicate so by raising your virtual hand. Mr. Chair, we do not have any hands raised.
Very good. Presentations. We have no presentations today. And because we missing Director Favai at the moment as the member, we are going to move backwards. So I'm going to skip our action calendar. And what we'll do is go to the information calendar, which is 6A, our monthly financial reports. So Eric, if you'd please introduce that item for us.
Certainly, Chair Houston. This is the monthly financial report as a standing committee item, and we have Sandra Ruiz, Accountant 2, to present this item. It begins on page 107 of the packet.
Thank you, Eric. Good morning, directors. I will be presenting the monthly financial reports. As required by West Bay City Municipal Administrative Code, staff is required to submit various financial reports to the board to keep them appraised of the financial condition and future needs of the district. With that, I will begin with the first item, which begins on packet page 109. This is the demands list for the period ending August 31st, 2025. The report concludes on packet page 113, and you'll see total disbursements for the month, $18.4 million. The Met bill for the month accounted for $12.7 million, so that accounted for approximately 69% of total spent for the month. With that, I will pause to see if you have any questions.
Okay, any questions, Director Deere? Questions, Director Gray?
Yes, Chair.
Oh, you have a question?
No, I don't. Thank you very much. Thank you.
No worries. Just looking over this really quick, I see we have an advertisement with the Los Angeles Times. Was first page 95055, check number about $1,200. What were we advertising in the LA Times lately?
We can look into that, Chair Houston. We'll have to specifically take a look. My assumption might be that it's probably advertising for a notice of completion on a construction project, but we'll verify that perhaps before the end of the meeting. Great.
It was for grass replacement advertising.
Oh, okay. So, to entice people to participate, like an ad.
Digital display.
Just out of curiosity, if that's the case, is that where it's targeted, I guess? Because the LA Times goes far and wide, but it's targeted to area or something like that. Oh, I see. Mr. Darrell, go ahead.
Happy to chime in there. Yes, when we do take advantage of Los Angeles Times as a publication outlet, it is all those ads and banner heads are targeted to the zip codes within our service area.
And it's for digital.
Yes.
Digital.
Chair Houston, I would add that
Yes, sir.
from our High Committee meeting last week, there was quite a bit of discussion and the updates about the variety of opportunities for grass replacement. And so given the various funding opportunities, I would suspect that this was our attempt to make sure that the community is aware of that.
Very good, very good. I'm just peeking through here. If there's anything else of interest here? Okay, if I have other questions, I'll ask you offline, but thank you for that. Moving on.
Next item begins on packet page 115, and that is the cash investment for the month ending August 31st, 2025. You will see the total market value of the portfolio is 65 million. In the right-hand corner is a bar graph that shows the breakdown of the security types. The investment pool, which is a California class, makes up 49% of the total portfolio. On the next page, we have the credit quality distribution. You will see that over 50% of the portfolio is rated AAA, which is very good. The next page, would be the maturity distribution, which is on packet page 117. Again, the whole portfolio is highly liquid. You see the 37 million in less than a quarter of the time period can be taken out if necessary. The next page is 118, and that's the transaction ledger for the month. Just wanted to point out, you will see that in acquisitions, City First Bank CDARS at 750 was renewed for another year. We are able to get it at 4.10%. So now we have all our small community bank CDs in place, 2 with Malaga and 2 with City First. And then the remaining report, which ends on 129, includes all the details for the portfolio. And with that, I will pause if there are any questions.
Any questions, Director Deere?
No.
Director Gray, any questions?
Oh, thank you.
Have none at this moment. Go ahead and move to the next part of it.
Next item begins on packet page 130, and that is the monthly water sales. The first bar graph shows the imported retail. And you will see portable sales for the month of August were 8,988 acre feet. When we compare that to budget, that's approximately 8% more. And then when we look at it as compared to last year, that is about 103 acre feet more as well. And just for some context, for the month of August, it was extremely hot. You know, we had some high temperatures, some 90s. So the high was at 87.22 compared to last year, which was only 81%. So that may have accounted for some of the additional usage. The second graph is the imported barrier, 369. And if we take a look closer, that breakdown is the Mingus Gap at 224 acre feet and West Coast Barrier at 144. And if we go to the next page, 131, we have the recycled water usage. That is 2,806 acre feet for the month. Broken down, barrier accounted for 517, the refineries 1746, and disinfected tertiary at 542. And with that, I will pause if there's any questions.
Very good. Any questions, Director Deere?
No questions.
Any questions, Director Gray, on water sales?
No, thank you for asking.
Okay. I have none.
The last item is on 132, and that is the Director's Conference and Travel Reports through the period August 2025. The total so far is 6,685. And then finally, the last item, the last report on page 133 is Executive Management and Staff Travel Expense. And with that, I will pause if there are any questions.
Any questions?
No, thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Director Gray. Let's see here. That's the end of our information calendar, right? Do we know how long Director Favalle might be?
And about another 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
There's another option is we could just do a recess. And, you know, when he gets here, then we'll come back. How about that? So why don't we, let's just say 10 minutes, we'll see, you know, if he's here by then, but we'll take a 10-minute recess and then the Director Favalle is here, we can continue on, okay? Very good. I am going to call this meeting back to order, and Director Valle is here, so we have a quorum of the committee. And with that, we are going to now move to the action calendar, which is 5. Item A, approval of minutes. Eric, if you'll please introduce that item.
Mr. Chair, happy to do so. This first item of the action calendar is simply an approval of previous meeting minutes. We have Desiree Quintero, the Manager of Administration, or also known as the Board Secretary. And this item starts on page 4.
Yes, thank you, Eric. Good morning, members of the committee and board. Minutes for the West Basin Municipal Water District Board of Directors meetings are an integral part of the public meeting process. Minutes provide a history of the actions taken at board meetings, which is informative not only for members of the public, but for other stakeholders as well. Minutes for the August 25th regular board meeting and attached for consideration and can be found beginning on packet page 6. With that, I would like to read the recommendation that the board approve the August 25, 2025 regular board meeting minutes. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Desiree. So any questions on these minutes? Director Fabian? None? Okay, Director Deere?
No questions. Thank you.
Director Gray?
No question. Thank you.
Thank you. I have no questions, and I would recommend this moves forward to the board with a recommendation of yes. Director Fabian?
Yes.
He agrees. Okay, great. Thank you. Next would be item 5B as in boy, approved sponsorship for fiscal year 25-26 community outreach events. We have 3 of those. So go ahead, Eric, please.
Certainly, Chair Houston, as you indicate, we have 3 community outreach events that are the committee is being asked to consider this afternoon. We have Asa Vasquez, Deputy Board Secretary 2, to present this item, and it begins on page 12.
Great, good. Good morning.
I know, I keep
Chairman
looking.
Houston, members of the committee and board. As Eric mentioned, the item begins on packet page 12. To start us off, we do have a request to sponsor the Culver City Art Walk and Roll Fest. That is an annual event that this year will be held on Saturday, October 18th, 2025. Director Houston is recommending that the board approve sponsorship of the festival for $1,000, and if approved, the sponsorship would grant West Basin an advertisement in the form of logo placement on event materials and social media. The sponsorship also offers the opportunity for West Basin to have a booth at the event. However, they do have a requirement that the booth includes something that is art focused, art related, or includes some type of artistic element. So staff is looking into the options to fulfilling that, taking into account that it would be the weekend before water harvest. There are also 2 or 3 other community outreach events at which we'll have booths. So we're just trying to work all of that out to see if we'll be able to fulfill that should this sponsorship request be approved. West Basin did previously sponsor this event back in 2023, and that was for $2,000, and we received similar benefits, including that opportunity for a booth. And at the time, we weren't able to fulfill that artistic or art component, but we did provide materials, and they were very willing to help us out with that, and they displayed that at their main information table. So we did still have materials and collateral present there for attendees. Documents submitted by the organizers for this request are included in attachment A, and you can find that on packet page 15. The next item that I have for you today is a request from the Circle of Palos Verdes Art Center. They are hosting their 50th anniversary gala on Saturday, October 25. At this time, Director Favai recommends that the board approve sponsorship of the anniversary gala for 1 week. If approved, this sponsorship would grant West Basin an advertisement promoting district programs in the form of a half-screen ad that will be shown during the event, as well as logo placement on both Circle and Palos Verdes Art Center websites. The sponsorship does also include a ticket to the event. The documents submitted by the organizers for this sponsorship request are included in attachment B, and you can find that beginning on packet page 18. The last item for your consideration today is the Heads Up Foundation's Undercover Heroes Annual Gala. They are hosting their annual event on Saturday, November 1st. And at this time, President Gray is recommending that the board approve sponsorship of the annual gala for $3,000. If approved, the sponsorship would grant West Basin a speaking opportunity, a booth at the event, as well as an advertisement in the form of logo placement on their event materials. The sponsorship does also include a few tickets to the event. West Basin previously sponsored this event in 2024 for $3,000 and received similar benefits at that time. The documents submitted by the organizers for this year's request are included in attachment C, and you can find that beginning on packet page 25. As always, we'd like to keep you abreast of the budgetary impacts of these sponsorships. So if you turn your attention to packet page 14, where it shows there that funds for sponsoring and participating in these community outreach events are included in the fiscal year 25-26 community outreach budget. Approving sponsorship of these events in the amounts requested, which total $5,000, would leave a remaining balance of $40,550 as shown in attachment B. And the details of that can be seen on packet page 30. And with that, I will read the recommendation. Number 1, Director Houston recommends that the board approve sponsorship of the Culver City Art Walk and Roll Festival on Saturday, October 18, 2025 for $1,000. Number 2, Director Favai recommends that the board approve sponsorship of the Circle of Palos Verdes Art Center's 50th anniversary gala on Saturday, October 25, 2025 for $1,000. And last but not least, Number 3, President Gray recommends that the board approve sponsorship of the Heads Up Foundation's Undercover Heroes annual gala on Saturday, November 1, 2025 for $3,000. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, very good. I'm going to go ahead and just ask a question real quick first on the Culver City event, the City Art Walk and Roll Festival. First of all, if this gets approved, I really would like us to have a booth there. I really would like us to figure out how to have a booth there if this gets approved in the end.
I want to make sure that I do emphasize that we are doing everything possible to do that. We're definitely just wanted to make sure that you were aware of the other factors, if for whatever reason we are able to, but we will do everything possible.
Can you explain more? What do they mean by an art theme? Do you know what they're?
We did try to get a little more information on that, on the specifics of what it is. Considering that it is an art walk and roll, what was explained to us is that some of the other booths will have art display. There may be vendors with different types of, art materials and things of that sort. So they're trying to keep it within that theme. One of the suggestions that has come up in discussing this and what it is that we could do is potentially using some of the artwork that we have from our art contest.
Right.
And displaying that and still just having, our usual booth setup. So we're looking to see if that's something that's feasible and if we can make that happen. We would have to confirm that that's acceptable or it passes that requirement or meets that requirement, I should say. And if so, then that may be an option for us. But they want some type of something tying in.
It makes it complicated for us, to be honest, right? I mean, we're trying to be a sponsor here. Although I thought the same thing. That's a great idea. Maybe that would be an angle. If we had some of our art contest artwork displayed and or any previous promos of, the contest is coming up. This is something we do as a district. So that's an idea. The other thing would be if for some reason, because of our staffing level and or we can't figure out the art situation to make it work, they'll still let us provide materials that they will display somewhere at the event.
That's something we coordinated it 2023, the last time that we sponsored this event. They were very helpful. They had their info table, I believe, is split up into 2 or 3 separate tables. They had our materials at all 3 kind of spread out. They had our logo displayed there as well. So we still had some level of representation, obviously not the same level, but they seem willing to work with us on that aspect.
Wait, when is this event? It's October the 18th. When are we doing rain barrels in Culver City? Does anybody remember off the top of your head?
11.
Oh, okay. So you don't see that. But we can still, we don't have one in Malibu down the road. Okay. So the rain barrels can still be a promotion as far as the flyer. Okay. All right. On that note though, continue working with them. Obviously, it still has to go through our approval process, but hopefully we can make it happen. But if we can't, for some reason, physically have our own booth, let's definitely work with them to have our materials displayed somewhere. I really, would appreciate it because at the end of the day, that's what these sponsorships are about. They're about having presence. I prefer booths if possible, or the organizers can help us make something happen. Accommodating, especially the agency, watching every dime. So that's all my questions on this one. Okay. My colleagues, any questions on any of these sponsorships, Director Babaye?
No.
None? Okay. Director Deere?
No question.
Director Gray?
No questions. Thank you.
Okay, excellent. But with that, I support all three. I recommend these move forward to the board for approval. Director Babaye?
Yes.
He does as well. All right, thank you. All right, item 5C is in cat. Consider fiscal year 25-26 district sponsorship request. And we have 5. And remind us again, Eric, these come from a different account. This is not per board member.
Correct. These come from the district's sponsorship account. And I believe that this is it was included in the package.
Yes, okay, so let's go ahead and introduce that item.
Well, as you know, Director, this is the district sponsorship request, separate of the community outreach, which are by division. And we have Carla Hewitt here as an executive assistant to begin this on page 31.
Thank you very much, Eric. Good afternoon again, members of the committee and board. This presentation begins on page 31 of your agenda packet with a brief mention of some things district sponsorship may contribute to achieve, and that is building and strengthening relationship with stakeholders, exchanging information with industry peers and members of the public, and promoting water conservation, water education, and district programs. This month, as our Assistant General Manager was mentioning, we have 5 requests for events happening between October and January 2026. And as seen previously, a comparison between the respective sponsorship levels for each event is included in the report to assist the committee with their discussion. First in line, we have Moonlight on the Marsh taking place on Saturday, October 11, 2025 at the Centerpoint Club in Playa Vista and hosted by Friends of Bayona Wetlands. This is an annual event to raise funds for restoration and educational programs to expand the wetland community. Sponsorship packages begin at $1,500, going up to $25,000. There is no change in pricing with respect to the previous year. As an alternative to sponsorships, digital tribute ads are available for purchase beginning at $500. And digital tribute ads, for reference, are advertisements, can be images or video, displayed in several screens, placed throughout the venue that play in a loop, a way to promote the organizations that do purchase those items. West Basin has consistently supported Moonlight on the Marsh in previous years at the Creek Crusader level with $1,500. And this time, Director Houston is requesting consideration of a $1,500 sponsorship for the event. Moving to page 32, please. We have the California State University Dominguez Hills Philanthropic Foundation Gala to be held at the JW Marriott Los Angeles LA Live on Friday, November 14th, 2025. The gala's main purpose is to raise funds for scholarship, but the event will also recognize the 65th anniversary of the university and will honor the legacy of President Thomas Parham ahead of his upcoming retirement. Sponsorship packages begin at $5,000, going up to $100,000. And a couple notes here, a $5,000 minimum sponsorship commitment is more at the high end of what the district typically sees, with most proposals starting in the $1,000 range. For reference, the average district sponsorship for fiscal year 2024-2025 was at the $3,000 mark. So this would be considered an event that's with a minimum commitment that's above the average of what we have typically done. Digital tribute ads are also available as an alternative to sponsorships. And we learned as of very recently that this also includes logo placement in the event website, though there is no formal sponsor recognition or any other on any other platform or at the event beyond the display of these ads. Director Pabay requests consideration of the purchase of the digital ad for $2,500. Moving on to the next request, but still on page 32, the Clean and Green Festival will take place on Saturday, November 15th, 2025, at the A.K. Warren Water Resource Facility in Carson. This event is a family-friendly, educational, free community event to promote environmental stewardship, brought up by the Clean Water Works Foundation, Education Foundation, in partnership with the City of Carson and with the support of Los Angeles Sanitation and Environment. Sponsorship packages begin at $500, going up to $10,000. And in this opportunity, Director Pabay requests consideration of a $500 sponsorship. Next request, now on page 33. We have the Association of California Water Agencies, ACWA, 2025 Fall Conference and Expo, taking place December 2nd to December 4th at the Sheraton San Diego Resort. Sponsorship packages begin at $1,000, going up to $15,000. Pricing remains mostly the same with respect to the previous year, with very minimal exceptions. West Basin sponsored the Aquafall Conference in 2023 with $3,000, and again in 2024 with $6,500. Earlier this year, West Basin also sponsored the Aqua Spring Conference with $1,500. As a reminder, Aqua sponsor benefits are cumulative, and the calendar year total determines how many complimentary registrations a sponsor receives for events scheduled for the following year. So however many sponsorship dollars we put towards Aqua events beginning January 1st, 2025 through December 2025 will dictate how many complimentary sponsorships we will registrations we will get for either the spring conference or the fall conference in 2026. Page 56 of the agenda packet has additional details regarding sponsorship packages and benefits. And staff is bringing this item for consideration, seeking committee input and sponsorship level recommendation should the committee decide to move this item forward to the board. Next and last request, also on page 33, is the 2026 Water Reuse Annual Symposium to be held from March 8th to March 11th, 2026 at the Intercontinental Hotel, downtown LA. So to clarify, because we have another water reuse event happening very, very soon, which is the California Conference. This would be the national conference that was previously held in Tampa in 2025 and before that in Denver in 2024. So the national conference is coming to LA next year. Sponsorship packages begin at $5,000, going all the way up to $30,000. And I would like to note here, there's a small typo in the staff report. It reads 9,500 at the visionary level. It should be 9,000, and I will come back to that number in just a moment. So just keep it in mind. Noteworthy in this proposal is Water Reuse restructuring of their conference sponsorship packages to introduce new price increases. So I would like to ask for Desir's help to maybe help us go to page 70 of the agenda packet, which illustrates it a little bit better. So as you may see, if you go to the complimentary registration line, unlike the previous years, packages that grant one complimentary registration are no longer available. So if that was a motivation for the committee, complimentary registrations are available starting at the visionary level, which is $9,000, which grants admission for two. Next page, please, 71. Now, as we can see on this page, the sponsorship pricing for 2026 increased 20% on average with respect to the previous year. And this came after an increase of 13% in 2025. So if we look at the graph, the orange bars are Denver 2024, and the green ones are Tampa 2025, and the blue bars reflect the prices for the 2026 conference, which you can tell they have increased with respect to previous years. And next, page 72, please. Another thing that is new this year is that the minimum sponsorship commitment increased by 40% with respect to 2025, hitting the $5,000 mark. This means that where the year before we were able to join for $3,000 at the lowest level, or the year before that, $2,500, now the lowest level available is $5,000. We had the opportunity to speak with Water Reuse Director of Programs, and he would like to stress that this new price structure is in no way reflective of the possibilities for utilities, and they're willing to work with us if there is feedback from the committee or the board that they would like to see a custom proposal for a different dollar amount. President Wise, West Basin sponsored the 2024 Water Reuse Annual Symposium with $7,500 and declined to sponsor the event in 2025 because it was in Tampa, so it was a little bit far away of our area of influence. Staff brings this item for consideration, seeking committee input and a sponsorship level recommendation should the committee decide to move it forward to the entire board. As for the fiscal impact, funds for the proposed sponsorships are included in fiscal year 2025-2026 sponsorship budget in the amount of $55,000. That's on page 73 of your agenda packet. The current balance in that budget is $39,500 as shown in the screen. Moving on to the recommendations. Number one, Director Houston recommends that the board consider approving sponsorship of the Moonlight on the Marsh event to be held at the Center Point Club in Playa Vista on Saturday, October 11, 2025, in the amount of $1,500. Director Tobias recommends that the board consider approving the purchase of a digital tribute ad for the 2025 California State University Dominguez Hills Philanthropic Foundation Gala to be held at the JW Marriott Los Angeles LA Live on Friday, November 14, 2025, in the amount of $2,500. Number three, Director Pavai recommends that the board consider approving sponsorship of the Clean and Green Festival to be held at the A.K. Warren Water Resource Facility in the city of Carson on Saturday, November 15, 2025, in the amount of $500. Number four, that the board consider approving sponsorship of the 2025 Aquapol Conference and Expo to be held at the Sheraton San Diego Resort, December 2nd to the 4th, 2025, and that it determines the appropriate sponsorship level. And number five, that the board consider approving sponsorship of the 2026 Water Reuse Annual Symposium to be held at the Intercontinental Los Angeles Downtown Hotel on March 8th to the 11th, 2026, and that it determine the appropriate sponsorship level. Thank you for your attention, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have now.
Let's see. Thank you, Carla. I'm going to open up questions in a moment, but I'll just start first. I think the first three are very clear. I just fully support those as is, just kind of putting it out there. The other two, we have to decide amongst ourselves, potentially, price points. Maybe we'll start with the last one, the Water Reuse Symposium, which obviously their costs are going up. But at the same time, it is going to be here in Los Angeles next year, which that's nice. That's really nice here. What was it you said? I think we took a pass on it last year, Carla, but the year before, what level did we do it?
$7,500, and part of what motivated the committee and the board, I believe, to go for that is that we actually had a presentation in partnership with a consultant. So we actually had two staff members from our engineering department there presenting on a topic. But we did 7,500. So back then that was the visionary level, if I'm not mistaken.
Got it. Okay, now it's 9,000.
Now it's 9,000. Yes.
How much is it? Do you know how much registration is?
Yes. Right here. So registration pricing varies depending on when in the timeline we register, right? So right now, and I think for the next month or so, it's $950. And as we get closer to the event date, it's $1,600.
Okay, 1,600. Early bird is $950.
$950.
So, but if you do this advocate level, and even the other ones, they all have a discounted registration up to $600 off.
Yes.
From my perspective, well, a couple things. One is, I mean, look, I love Water Reuse Association. I completely want to support them. Obviously, it's probably in part beyond their control, the prices these days. I would recommend we do the lowest level, a $5,000 advocate level, which does give us discounted registrations for 2. Because at this point, we really don't know who is going to attend. And we could start working on that, assuming we were to get this approved, and then hopefully take advantage of the earlier registration discount. But that being said, my personal opinion is I think that the lowest level advocate of 5,000 would be reasonable for the district. So that's my thinking. And now I'll just open it up to my colleagues. Director Favalle, you're a member of our committee. So what do you think?
I agree with that, Director Houston. You know, I'm going with the lowest advocate sponsorship. And then that puts us at the $950 per registration for the staff. What is that? Is that what that is?
The registrations for the event are independent to the sponsorship packages, but we do get $600 off if we go for a certain sponsorship level. If we are going for the $5,000 one, then there is no, oh, I'm sorry, my bad. Complimentary registrations beginning at the $9,000 level. And if we were for the 5,000, as Director Houston is mentioning, then we do get a discount for those. So if we register now, that the pricing is still at $950, then we would get $600 off that. And if we wait a little longer, then it's going to be $600 off, however much the registration price is.
So we're saving even more.
If we do it early.
Yeah, if we do it early. Okay. No, I agree with Director Houston on that. Yes.
Very good on that one. Not fully there just yet, but Director Deere, any thoughts? Okay, Director Gray.
Director Gray, you may be on mute and you will need to press *6 in order to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me, Chair? I think what you just said in your analysis made sense. So I support what you just said. The
Okay,
lower price.
perfect.
Thanks.
Okay, very good.
And Chair, I have to get off the phone, but you do have a quorum, right?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
so it's
thank
okay.
you.
So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay, wonderful. So I think on item that was 5, right?
Yes.
Yes.
On item C5, Director Favalle and I concur. We'll do the advocate level. We'll recommend that to the board, $5,000. Personally, $8,000 is extremely steep, quite frankly, even if they're in town. Okay, now let's move back to the Aqua Conference, which is in December 2 through 4. Can't believe all these conferences are coming up. Let me see. I'm going to find my pages here real quick. You guys need us to give you some guidance here. Carla, can you remind us offhand, what did we do the last couple times with Aqua? Just
For the fall conference, $3,000 in 2023, and $6,500 in 2024. For the fall conference specifically, and then for the spring one this year, $1,500.
okay, that's right. Okay. Let me see here. What was the one you did? You said $6,500 for something in the past.
$6,500 for the Aqua Fall 2024.
Oh,
Last
last
year.
year. We got 2 packages. Well, I have to tell you, just off the top of my head, I'd be inclined to do the silver for $3,000. That's where I'm at, Director Favalle. Because look, you get one registration automatically. We may have some that are still in, I don't know.
Yes, these are cumulative benefits.
Mhm.
So say if the goal was to obtain one complimentary sponsorship, these are calculated on an annual basis. So we are already at $1,500. We need to reach $3,000 in a year to get that complimentary sponsorship.
Oh, okay.
Registration. I keep saying sponsorship. Registration. So, $3,000 it makes sense, but again, the goal is to get that complimentary registration. Technically, we only need 1,500
Oh,
to reach that mark.
they don't have a $1,500 option, huh?
They have, if you take a look at the package, and I don't know if maybe Desiree can help me out with putting it on the screen. I can't remember the page number right now. Was 56. There you go. Our Aqua friends are very nice because they don't have fixed levels or specific tiers. They say 1,000 plus, and then 3,000 plus, and so on and so forth. So 1,000 can be 1,001 or 2,999, right? So it's at the discretion of the organizations that consider to sponsor what that dollar amount would be.
Okay. Well, you know, regardless of all that, I actually just think, you know, look, we want to support Aqua. I just think we do it at the lowest level, near lowest level possible, quite frankly. So I would be open to the silver level of $3,000. Because here, you know, there will probably be a number of staff or a couple of directors that will go. We're going to be paying for some attendance. But that being said, I'd like to support them, you know, for this conference. And again, it's a little early to figure out who all is actually physically going to go, but I do know a number of our staff go.
Yes, and just to clarify, if you allow me, these benefits are not effective for this conference. They're actually calculated on an annual basis, so we won't see them until 2026.
That one package would be for the future.
As early as the spring conference or as late as the fall conference, depending on what it's saying.
Very good. Good, good. Okay, well, so I'm just looking at the bigger picture of the benefits and what we support. And I'm willing to do the silver package. Director Provide, what do you think?
I just have a question.
Go for it.
So, on the the individual, number, when it says 900, is it 999 for individual? If you want to do individual registration?
Registrations. Okay.
Yes.
Let me go back to that. Yes, so this would be, they have, West Basin is a member of Aqua. They have, for their conference, member pricing and non-member pricing. So our member pricing begins at $999. So if we wanted to buy a ticket with disregard of any sponsorships and just, you know, the average person goes from a member agency and gets one, it's $999, or it can go as high as $1,029, you know, closer to the date.
Okay. And do we get any discount on if we do like the early?
$999 would be the lowest that we could get, and any sponsorship benefits will kick in the following calendar year. Mhm.
Gotcha. No, that's the only question I had, and I do support your.
Perfect. Very good. Any questions, Director Deere? Director Gray has left. So let's do that. We will recommend the silver level on this item, the full board. Anything else?
That is all. Thank you very much.
Good. Okay, so we got that figured out. Also, thank you. Number one, thank you for putting all this together. I know it's a lot of work and it's extremely confusing. And the other thing is we're trying to be very judicious with our funds. And just so, and Director Pavai, he probably knows this too, but like when staff goes to one of these conferences and we pay registration, it comes out of the staff travel budget, if I'm not mistaken, right? Isn't that what it comes out of? Staff travel budget, and if they have to be at the hotel, on and on. You know, if we go, it comes out of our travel budget. It's obviously nice when we have a entry registration or two kind of in the hopper, if you will, because it'll get used. So it helps some costs at some point. Because again, someone's going to be going to these. So, you know, we might as well take advantage of that. And I know we're members, but we want to support these organizations. It's a lot of work and money to put on conferences. We get it. So I want to say thank you to staff and my colleagues on this. All right. We got a couple more things to do here. Let's see.
Chair Houston, if I may just offer,
Go ahead.
with the committee's recommendations today, that will amount to about 12,500.
Okay.
that would be authorized at the board meeting next Monday. And looking at Carla's final table there in her packet, that will bring that budget balance down to about 27,000. So I wanted to put that into context.
Very good. Okay, great. Thank you, Eric. Okay, let's do this. We've got item, get the number right. It's 5, right? We're still on 5. Yes, 5D as in dog. Consider waiving the late penalty assessed to Los Angeles County Waterworks District number 29. Eric.
All right, as you say, this is to consider waiving a late penalty. We have Wendy O'Kelly, Chief Financial Officer, here to present this item today, and the item begins on page 74 of the packet.
Thank you, Eric. Good afternoon, committee. The item today is related to the correspondence from Los Angeles County Waterworks District number 29. And this correspondence can be found on page 76 of your packet. The county is requesting for a full waiver of the late fee assessed on August 11th, 2025 in the amount of $26,382.03. West Basin's policy for late fees is published in the district's water rate resolution 06-25-1225, which permits assessment of a 2% late fee when payments are not made within the 30-day payment window. Under that policy and prior to applying any late fee, staff does contact the retailer to inform them of non-payment. And in this particular case, the bill was issued July 10th, delivered to LA County Waterworks District. On August 11th, staff contacted the retailer regarding the missed payment. Staff was informed the payment was going through their approval process, and then payment was eventually received and posted on August 15th. As a result, the district received a written request. West Basin received a written request that the full assessed late fee of $26,382.03 be waived. Before the board considers, I would like to or committee considers, I'd like to give some relevant history and context to this fee waiver request. LA County Waterworks District 29 has been a West Basin customer since 1997. Approximate annual billing for the past 2 years is $11.7 million. And over their time with West Basin, they have had 3 penalties assessed. And 2 out of the 3 were waived by the board. 1 was paid. That one that was paid was about $718. Also, I just like to keep in mind that they are an imported water customer. 80% of their invoice is passed through to MET, which although West Basin did receive payment, on-time payments are fundamental to our cash flow, our healthy cash flow, and impacts our ability to make fiscal decisions. With that, I'd like to read the recommendation that the board considers the request to waive the late penalty assessed to Los Angeles County Waterworks number 29 in the amount of $26,382.03.
Very good. Let's see, Director Fabai, any questions?
No questions.
Director Deere.
Yeah, are we setting a precedent by doing this or what?
In the past, the board has not denied a fee waiver request. So if we were to deny it, that would be setting a precedent. We have always waived them.
Oh, so they're used to this treatment, expected it, I guess. Okay, I guess we're pretty easy.
I have a question in the sense that I was reading the letter here, and it says, during the fiscal year transition period, internal changes temporarily affected the timing of invoice processing. So I suppose somehow on their side, something was going on that they say delayed getting this payment process to us, but we don't know what that is.
Then staff called and Sandra Ruiz made the communication. We were told that it was going through the approval process. And that was causing the delay.
I think where I'm at with this is, yes, we should waive it, okay, but it's happened twice, in the last.
The first occurrence was, and to be clear, the first occurrence was 2007. There was another one in 2020 and then 2021.
What's the 2020? Was that the $718? Oh, which was nothing. I mean.
Right. 2007, it was $6,000. 2007, excuse me, it was $6,000. 2021, it was $20,900 that we waived.
Okay. So, and this one's over $26,000. But with that, look, I think one, we should waive this, but two, if it's gonna become an issue at some point, because we have a 30-day time frame here. They need to do something to fix that, because as you mentioned, it's cash flow for us and pass through to Metropolitan, right?
Yes.
So I don't know how at some point we have that conversation with them, if they think this is gonna be a challenge. I mean, it hasn't been for a while. So I think we give them some grace here, but, that's just my thoughts. Is, if it's gonna become a problem, we have to have a conversation with them about it and how we can rely upon them to pay in time for us. So, all right, so with that, I would recommend, we go with the staff's recommendation to waive this to the full board. Director Bavai, you concur?
Yes.
Yes. And then obviously our general manager can look into that, we don't want this to keep happening, of course, we get it. But we also value the partnership. All right.
Houston, when
Yes.
we convey the outcome of the board's decision on Monday, we can certainly pass along that sentiment.
Mhm.
That, 4 times in 30 years doesn't sound that bad, but I think I also heard 3 times in the last 5 years. So we can pass along the board's sentiment that
Mhm.
judicious payments.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay. Well, and on that note, obviously none of our other retailers are doing this, right?
We saw one other retailer, here. I think it was 2016,
Mm-hmm.
Water.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was a while back, 2016.
Like 9 years ago. Okay. Let's see here. Item 5E is an Edward. Award agreement for industrial network hardware replacement and installation. Eric.
Thank you, Chair Houston. We have Eric Kakamo, Information Technology Analyst 2, to present this item regarding industrial network hardware replacement and installation. And this item begins on page 78 of the board package.
Eric, good afternoon, board members. Today, we are requesting authority to replace end-of-life network equipment that supports our security systems at 5 of our remote sites. These devices are what allow our security cameras, badge readers for doors and gates, and access panels to connect back to the district's system. The equipment currently in place was installed back in 2016. Our normal replacement cycle for this type of hardware is 7 years. These devices are now 9 years old. Over the past year, we have seen more and more failures, including interruption in security camera video feeds, delay in door badge readers, and even complete device breakdowns. 2 network switches have already failed, and we have had to use temporary replacements that are not designed for long-term use in these environments. The challenge with old equipment is that it's no longer supported by the manufacturer. That means that we cannot get updates or proper replacement parts if something goes wrong, which increases the risk of outages and interruptions to our security systems. To address this, we ran a competitive bid process through our OpenGov platform. GovConnection came in as the lowest responsive and responsible bidder. The proposal includes new network switches and point-to-point radios designed for this type of facilities. The total project cost is $142,437.78, which covers both the equipment and installation. This falls within the $150,000 that was already budgeted for the 2025-2026 fiscal year. Replacing this network equipment will unify the systems across sites, reduce the risk for failures, and ensure everything is on a supported platform moving forward. This will make our security systems more reliable, reduce downtime, and simplify future maintenance. With that, I will read the recommendation that the board authorize the general manager to execute an agreement with GovConnection for the network hardware replacement and installation project in a total not to exceed the amount of $142,437.78. Thank you, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Director Provide, you got any questions on this item?
No. Questions?
Director Gear. Let's see, this was competitively bid or?
Yes, sir.
But you don't have the chart in here of the others, or did it warrant that, or?
I'll speak to that, sir. So we actually launched this twice for a bid. The first time, we had about 10 vendors show up to the sidewalk.
Okay.
A lot of them failed the bid. A lot of it was due to confusion in our language. They viewed our small and local business as a requirement instead of something they could do to get extra points. So once we saw we got no bids, we made contact with everyone, and it was the same, I think, except for one vendor who sent it to the wrong person. So we flew it back out at this time. Now that most of the vendors kind of had an idea of the project, I believe we had 4 that came back on site just to confirm things, and we ended up with 2 final bids.
You had 2 that bid.
Yes, and the other one was, I believe, an additional 40K.
Oh, they were higher.
So since it was just 2 vendors, we didn't include a table. Usually when we have multiple vendors, we would.
On that note, what is our usual protocol for that? If
For including the information.
Mhm.
Yeah, we try to be consistent across the various departments and committees, but obviously we're not, because I'm sure you're thinking of our many engineering projects where we have tables associated with that. If it's the committee's preference, we can certainly add that, and before that, this item goes before the board.
Because did you scored it, or we're just seeing the numbers and?
Yeah, it was overall best bid. Best.
I would ask that we add it in, if you would, before Monday's meeting, just to have it for the transparency. And then hopefully we've addressed the issue of people not understanding what we mean by small, what is it, a local business, within a.
Brought it up to our contracts department, but in my experience here, this is the first time
Yeah.
any vendor has mistaken it, and it was just a weird coincidence. It was all in this project. But we did relay it to them, and they were gonna look at their documentation.
And then lastly is, have we used these folks before?
Gulf Connection, yes. They're a larger provider. This is their public sector outlet of their business. I think their mother agency is The Connection.
How long is it gonna take once this gets potentially approved?
It should take anywhere from a month to 2. The hard part of it is the coordination and planning, because there will be some downtime as we swap over.
Mhm.
But you order equipment, that's part of the lead times. It's anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks.
Mhm.
That changes all the time. And then the actual installation, when we're talking to the labor guys there, correct me, I think they said under 2 weeks, actual physical work. And really just because they're going site to site to site.
They gotta go to all of our sites, right?
Yes.
Okay. And do we have to get new badges, or is everything we have?
So all the underlying equipment that supports our access control is still supported, all that's still maintained. It's the underlying infrastructure that allows the communication between sites.
With the cameras, right?
The
Camera,
cameras are not, they're supported by this equipment, but they're not tied to this project.
but their operations are dependent upon this, right? What are those? So those are the cameras that are on site in our different facilities. And someone monitors them here?
No, so they're actually being monitored at the control room in ECL. We monitor them on the IT aspect of when the cameras go down. If we notice they're not responding, we have our own internal monitoring system. And so this is how we've been tracking the failures and been knowing to respond out. Luckily, knock on wood, the times of failures, we haven't had any incidents where we lost footage that was critical. But we've been keeping a track in conjunction with the on-site contract operator.
Okay. Oh, they're the ones, again, they're seeing it consistently if there's anything going on.
And to clarify, Chair Houston,
Yeah.
At this building, the DLD building, the security guard downstairs does have access to these cameras.
The ones here, not to the other facility. Okay. I thought I had no more. I've got one more though, but what is, when they go through with this, what's the time frame? How long is this new equipment supposed to
Average network equipment is 7 years. Just because we're at a location like ECL, any kind of electrical equipment there, lifespan is reduced because of the salt and all the water. So depending on where it's at, we aim for 7. Initially, I know these batches were 9 years, and that was due to budget constraints and us managing our budget here. But typically, they should last us at least 7 years, unless for whatever reason, the manufacturer might say, hey, for this reason, we're sunlighting these equipments, here's a replacement model, and you have to move forward.
Very good. All right. See, good answers to the questions. Anything? Did you come up with questions now? Okay. Okay. All right. So I think we have thoroughly evaluated that one, and I want to say thank you. So I would recommend this moves forward to the full board. Recommendation of yes.
Yes.
Director provided concurs. And if you guys would somehow add in a little bit of that background of the two firms, so we have a little bit more information, that'd be great. And we still have one more item, right? Okay, so 5F as in Frank, issue a purchase order for hardware for the district disaster recovery site.
Chair Houston, committee member Favai, this item is another IT item related to hardware. I will let Albert Plimpton, our senior information technology analyst, discuss how this is different from the last one. And the item begins on page 102.
Start with the best practice project, reimburse eligible expenditure for district cyber resiliency. This is an item to replace servers at our disaster recovery site, or I'm sorry, to add servers to our disaster recovery site, specifically 3 servers. We found during our review that our current servers lack the resources in CPU, memory, and storage to cover our critical applications and databases should we ever have to fail over. So this is specifically looking at disaster recovery to replace NAT servers for that. As part of our bidding process, we did a competitive solicitation on the district's OpenGov bidding platform. We received 11 proposals. We took the lowest qualified bid, which was GovConnection. And looking at budget, this item was budgeted in the fiscal year budget, but as I mentioned, this is a grant reimbursable item. So this will be reimbursed by the grant. And the recommendation is that the board authorize the general manager to issue a purchase order with GovConnection Incorporated for the procurement of disaster recovery hardware for an amount not to exceed $79,762.05. Again, that would be the lowest qualified bid. Taking the comments from the last item, though, we will add the table and put all of them bid as well.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Questions? Director Provide.
Yes, I got a question. Is this the same company on a prior? Okay.
Very good.
I'd like to highlight on this one, we didn't include it in there. This happened late last week. There was actually a different winner. And then a follow-up from our contracts team, and they're doing their own checks. Realized the equipment they bidded us, even though they didn't document it, was refurbished or reopened and touched, but wasn't in service. They give us a little different reasons. So they were disqualified. GovConnection was the second lowest bidder, and that's how they won it. And this was after, because we had selected the first vendor, wrote our staff report with them in mind.
Right.
Right before we posted, like, the day before they contract sold us.
Okay. And so to that point, is that in the staff report when that you deemed them non-responsive?
That was all after the report was written.
Oh, it's
Right
after.
before it was like the day before we posted the actual report.
Okay. Yeah, it'd be good to have something like
We'll
that
add that in.
in
Now
the
that we're-
report. Yeah, for the directors. Yeah.
And to be specific, this is for specific hardware that we called out. This is every vendor was speccing out the same exact equipment. We actually gave them the SKU numbers from Bill to bid it out. So
Then
it was item per item.
can you include the name of the contractor that actually was deemed non-responsive
Yes.
on the board? Okay, good. That's it. No.
Thank you. Director, do anything?
Okay, thank you.
So you already addressed that. I think you should, you put in whatever a chart is or say, hey, there was 11 that came in, just so we know. And put in that explanation of what transpired. I don't know that you got to put anything more as the backup, but it is kind of skimpy. It's just these 3 pages of server specs. I mean, But this is what they basically sent us is this?
That's kind of due to the specs is what we provided, so
Yeah.
that was sent out. The
Yeah.
way they bidded, they didn't provide actual quotes. They bidded using the OpenGov platform.
Oh, I see.
So that's why we have that screenshot of that table.
I see.
Once it gets awarded, finalized, there's a full-on quote that gets issued and all that. But I know what you're typically looking for,
Right.
but this was because it was conducted through that platform.
Okay, so they literally go into it, they do everything and
They type in this line item, yes.
Okay, okay. Got it. Okay. Oh, I know what I was gonna ask you. Because it's the way you guys phrase it, it's the district's disaster recovery site. So what does that mean? Is it like a,
It's our main treatment site. We typically don't let individuals know where our recovery site is at, and that's why we just vague. It's.
you don't have to say it in here.
Yeah.
We're online. We're online, public meeting. But there is a physical place, is what I'm asking. Oh, okay, see, I guess you have to tell directors offline where that's at. No,
Maybe we should.
I thought I knew maybe we should go see a tour.
After they get installed, the new one.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. Okay, because I was wondering too. I'm like, is it a physical thing? Is it a space? Where is this? Okay. Not very good. See, you've answered a lot more of our questions. All right. Well, with that, I think that we've got what we need, and you have heard our feedback. So let's go ahead. We'll recommend this with a yes to the full board on Monday.
Yes.
And thank you, Director Fabai. And I think we made it through the whole meeting. Wow. Okay. So with that, we'll move on to item 6A we already covered. So 7 is closed session. We have no closed session. Item 8 is our director's comments or future agenda items. I'll start with Director Gear. Comment.
Oh, we adjourn.
Oh. We're getting there.
Almost there.
Director Fabai.
Yes, I just wanted to say to the staff, thank you for all the hard work you do in the presentations and bringing this forward to the committee. I know it's not easy, to deal with a lot of the contractors that are out there and how they bid with the RFPs and so forth. So, yeah, kudos to everything that you do for West Basin. Thank you.
Very good. And I will echo that. And also say thank you for bearing with us as we, sometimes get a little in the weeds, but it's good for us to know, as well as, for our public to know how we're spending their money. And, with that, let's see, we have a meeting scheduled for next month. Our next meeting is scheduled to be held on October 21st, 2025. And so with that, we are adjourned.